Welcome to your online classroom. Today's topic is primary and secondary sources. If this is your first time watching this video and you find it helpful and valuable, please consider subscribing to get more educational content. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified of new uploads. Let's get it on with today's topic. In the study of important historical concepts, we first study the source. A historical source is an original source that contains important historical information. These sources are something that informs us about history at the most basic level, and these sources are used as clues in order to verify its reliability and credibility. Materials used to study history can be classified into two types: primary and secondary sources. A primary source is something that originates from the past. It can be a chronicle, a piece of pottery, or even a piece of glacial ice that gives us climate data about the levels of atmospheric carbon 1,000 years ago. Historians, to the best of their abilities, work with primary sources to understand the past on its own terms, not through the modern-day lenses. For example, if one were only to study the Crusades through modern-day books, they would not be able to understand what would motivate a knight to travel across the world and engage in warfare against Muslims in his own words. It would be too easy to view his motivations with our modern-day disapproval of his actions. But if we look at a primary source, we can at least sympathize better with the medieval world that would make the act of holy war seem reasonable to him, even if we still strongly disagree with the outcome. Again, a primary source is an original object or document. It's the raw material or first-hand information, a source material that is closest to what is being studied. Primary sources vary by discipline and can include historical and legal documents, eyewitness accounts, results of an experiment, statistical data, pieces of creative writing, and art objects. In the natural and social sciences, the results of an experiment or study are typically found in scholarly articles or papers delivered at conferences, so those articles and papers that present the original results are considered primary sources. A secondary source is a work that comments on the past. Typically this is a recently written book that describes past events, often written by a historian or trained scholar familiar with the time period and civilization in question. A secondary source is a book about history. Scholars will spend just as much time with secondary sources as they will with primary sources, since they attempt to understand how other scholars interpret obscure events and may disagree with their analyses. For example, a Roman coin that was made by the Romans is a primary source, but a drawing of a Roman coin made in 2021 would be a secondary source. A book written about the Tudors in 1525 would be a primary source, but a book written about the Tudors in 2020 would be a secondary source. A secondary source is something written about a primary source. Secondary sources include comments on, interpretations of, or discussions about the original material. Secondary source materials can be articles in newspapers or popular magazines, book or movie reviews, or articles found in scholarly journals that evaluate or criticize someone else's original research. I hope this discussion filled you in with the knowledge you need to understand the topic. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends or classmates. Don't forget to subscribe to get the next lesson. Thank you for watching and see you on the next topic.